Okay, good morning, one and all. So, in this session, we will be discussing about the remaining domains in which we people will be using our IoT concepts. Okay, so in the previous session, we discussed about some of the domain specifics which we can use in our where we can actually use IoT. So in the previous session, we discussed about something called as home automation, followed with cities, environment, and energy systems. Okay, we covered. So in today's session, we'll try to wrap up this remaining portion, something called as retail, logistics, agriculture, industry, and health and lifestyle. So these are basically where we will be seeing how IoT can be used in these particular scenarios. Well, if we talk about retail here, we discussed that in retail there are three different applications where we can use it. So something is what we call it as inventory management, followed with the smart payments, and then we have smart vending machines. Okay, so let's see one by one what do you mean by inventory management. Well, actually, inventory management is nothing but this is something like your DMart. We do have different shopping malls, right? Like DMart, and we have something called Reliance stores, and we have Reliance Heritage Fresh. Now, if you see here, all the items will be arranged in a sequential order. Okay, whichever the customer requires more, that will be in the front. Which are not much bothered, that will be in the last. Now, when these are ordered, like these people are arranging in a sequential manner, there should be some kind of mechanism to identify how much amount of that particular item is left. For example, initially they have kept around 10 packets, but later on, as the customers are coming and they are taking the package, the automatic means humans will not go and find out how many are left. Instead, the machine will provide the information that already 5 out of 10, 7 has been taken up by the customer, 3 are remaining. Please try to fill that gap. Means again remaining 7 items have to be placed. Something like, you can take an example of your biscuit packets, that there are 10 biscuit packets that have been present in the shelf. Among them, the customers came and they have taken 7, and there are only left with 3. So automatically a signal will be transmitted to the author, not author, the owner, whoever is actually managing it, or we can say the manager, indicating that there are only 3 biscuit packets that are left. The remaining have been consumed by the customer. Then what happens exactly here is, automatically they will come and they'll fill that particular gap using the remaining biscuit packets, whatever they are having. So that is what actually called as inventory management. Not only I'm talking about food items here, it can be anything. Like you people might be buying some smartphones. So all these smartphones, how they are actually transmitting, they are stored in their warehouses. Okay, they'll be having many different type of mobile phones there. So whenever one automatically, suppose like for example Redmi, when they launch it for the first time, there will be huge demand around during night 12 o'clock. And what happens immediately within a fraction of seconds, all the sales will be completed. So how they will come to know that these many packets have been done means based upon this particular inventory management. They'll having a something called as important thing called radio frequency identification. Every rack will have one particular IoT device placed there, which will be taking care of that particular item. So that is what we call it as radio frequency identification tag. These are most important. Okay, why is calling it as radio frequency means with the help of a frequency of a radio, we will be able to transmit the messages. We don't have require any net connection or something like that. Okay, automatically using radio frequencies, you can directly try to access the information. Something like Doordarshan. We don't require a cable connection to have Doordarshan. Simple antenna, if you have it and if you know in which direction we can place, automatically it will capture the radio. So that is the radio frequency what we are getting it. Okay, like FM radio what we are. Same way this technique works. Now this tag what happens, it will be attached to all the products. Whichever product you want to keep track of, that will be assigned this. And this will be keeping track of in real time, and it will provide you the information accurately. That is the best part of your inventory. So this is mostly used in your something called as Flipkart. You can talk about Flipkart here. You can see this an Amazon. Not only that, even the latest malls, whatever we have, but mostly they do not use it because it costs. It's actually a hardware, right? So it's somewhat costly. Yeah, something like. I don't know how many of you visited mobile phone galleries in your malls. you might be seeing that there will be some sample mobile phones being placed and they are connected with some kind of a wire kind of thing. I don't know how many of you seen it. So that wire gun means you can open it, you can do it, but you cannot access and run away from stage. Okay, so that's the reason. So that is what RF is. So whenever you people are touching that mobile, a signal will be sent to the owner, means who is managing that, indicating that someone is touching that particular mobile phone. Immediately he'll come and he'll ask you like, what do you want or something. He'll start demonstrating about that particular mobile phone, something like that. So how we are getting it means that is based upon this RFID tag. So whichever device we wanted to access, we can provide this RFID tag. So RFID tags, and based on that, it will try to what we call get the information from that particular tag. So tracking here can be done using RFID readers. So here we are not discussing about RFID tag, I mean in depth, but here this will have a reader. Reader is the one which will try to read the information from the databases. Okay. So here next one comes is payments. Smart payments, I think you people might know. Smart payments nowadays we people are doing it. Like we are doing cashless. We usually call it as a cashless payment. That comes under smart payment. Something like we people might be using Phone Pay, or we have something called Google Pay. Apart from that, in if you talk about hardware, nowadays in the debit and credit cards you might be saying they are having some kind of radio frequency kind of channel within that credit card. So you don't have to insert that into the POS machine. Okay, automatically you have to just wave on top of the machine. Automatically the money gets detected. Okay, so what kind of technology these devices are actually using is nothing but we have near field communication and Bluetooth. Okay, near field communication, how it works, I'll tell you. In your smartphone, you will be actually downloading NFC communication. Now within this, what you people are going to do is NFC communication. You will be adding the details of your cards. Maybe it may be your credit card or it may be your something called as debit card. Now using this particular card, you people will be whenever you want to pay the amount to the customer, I mean the retailer. What you will do is you will not use swipe the card. You will not be swiping the card. Simply you will take that mobile phone near to that machine and you will try to communicate using a Bluetooth. That machine will have a Bluetooth, you will have a Bluetooth, your smartphone. So you will try to connect with the Bluetooth and then you will try to transmit the money from that. So this is the easiest way of doing smart payment without taking credit card. If you forget your credit card at your home, don't worry. If you have a smartphone, that smartphone has NFC and a Bluetooth, automatically you can try to transmit the information. Okay, so that's somewhat easier to perform it. So here basically, yeah, so I'll show you the diagram so that you can understand that. This is your example. Now, as you can see here, this particular thing, this is what we call POS system. Every mall, shopping mall or everywhere, every retailer will have this POS system. Now, if you observe here, initially what we do, we insert a credit card. In this particular location, we insert it or we will try to swap from this particular location. But here what it is going to do exactly here is, we will not be using credit or debit card. All the details are present in this particular smartphone and it is having NFC. So what I'm going to do, I'll simply bring it in front of this particular device and with the help of Bluetooth, I'll connect it and I'll try to send the money. This is the best way. Okay, so this is the way it actually works. If you observe here, we need to store the credit card information or debit card information into our smartphone which has NFC. Then only it can work. If we don't have any details in this particular NFC related software application, then we cannot transmit the money. That amount, that information should be present here. Okay, and how it works, as I told you, it definitely requires a Bluetooth. So using Bluetooth, it will try to communicate and then we can transmit money. This is a purely cashless based money transmission. Okay. Next we have something called as vending machine. So in this particular vending machine, what we are doing is, well, in this smart vending machine, right? So vending machine is nothing but you can I don't know how many of you have seen it. This is like automated type of machine where you people will insert the amount. Okay, so this is the diagram for that. You people will be inserting a coin inside this particular machine, and with the help of this interface, you have surface interface. Okay, using surface interfacing, you will try to get that particular item. Mostly people might have seen in movies. You will insert a coin. Mostly these vending machines you people can see in airports, longis and all, where you will insert that particular coin and you will select the item which you want. It will be given to you from the bottom. Okay, from here you will get the information. You will get that particular bottle. It's mostly used for storing chocolates as well as something called as what we call cool drinks. Okay, you'll get that bottles directly. So no person is available here to give you. Simply insert the coin, select the item which you want, it will be dumped from this particular location. That is what we call vending machine. So it is smart. Why smart? How it comes to know that whether you have inserted a perfect coin or not, or whether you have inserted a perfect amount or not, that will be decided by the machine itself. So we have written algorithms for that. Okay, so that comes under smart vending machine. Okay. So here what is saying that when a user moves from one vending machine to other, the pair of smartphone, the user prefers the pair. It means what he needs to say here is, let us suppose whatever the item you want to access from this vending machine is not available, this vending machine will actually pair with your device and will tell you the next location where this particular vending machine is present. Means there will be multiple vending machines in different floors. Let us suppose you are trying to get the item from the first floor, and during accessing, you found that that particular vending machine is not having. So since you are paid with this particular machine, what it will do is it will try to send you information that in the second floor the vending machine is having that item. You can go and access from that particular location. So that's why it is called a smart vending machine. And since we are connected with our mobile devices, we can directly send the amount. Okay, so using your NFC related information, whatever we have seen in the previous page. So this is the best part of your smart vending machine. That is what he is explaining about here, and nothing much related to that. So next we have related to retail. Retail is nothing but it's related to something like stock pits, where we will be storing all the information related means all the data, or means what we can, all the items where we have in a bulk, that comes under retail. So here we can use IoT applications to determine fleet tracking. Fleet tracking is nothing but when the fleets are coming and when the fleets are moving. Ship monitoring, so whenever the ship is moving and whenever the ship is not moving, and other activities related to ship monitoring or your devices where exactly it has reached, that we can see it using this particular retail. So next we have remote vehicle diagnostic. So whichever the vehicle is there, if there is any some kind of problem, mostly people might have seen in Iron Man. I don't know how many of you have seen it. In Iron Man, what it does, he asks the machines, like, in that they usually show you, the machine will diagnose the system and tell where exactly the problems are. Not only machines, even human beings. It will diagnose from top to bottom a human being, and it will tell every information. The machine will tell every information related to the person, that what problems he is facing, how much blood pressure and all. That information will be provided by this particular remote vehicle diagnosis. It's very simple. So let's see that. So this is something like, this is a small model related to it. Like you might have seen these kind of containers which are present near to Srinagar and all. So these containers consist of some data. So when this container will be lifted, where this container is present exactly right now, if the company wanted to know, they can use this IoT applications, and based on that they can find it out. Right now it is present where? Maybe it may be present onto the ship and which is moving, or maybe it is onto the train, or it may be present in the sheds. Okay, so you can try to access the information using this IoT related information. So these are the different areas where this IoT is playing a very vital role. Then ship monitoring and all. Okay. So let's talk about fleet tracking here. So coming to the fleet tracking, what it needs to say is nothing but you people are transmitting using something like, in an aeroplane your data is getting transmitted. So how you can track that information is using GPS. Since we people are talking about fleet is nothing but via air. Via air, we people are trying to transmit the data. So how we can track it means we definitely require GPS technology. So using GPS only we can try to identify where exactly that particular item or that particular box is located. Okay, so based on that we can determine. We don't have to ask anyone. So since we people are connected with GPS technology, and if that particular vehicle is moving continuously, the data has to be stored somewhere. So definitely we will be using a cloud-based tracking system in order to determine. So cloud, it's within the cloud we will will write the algorithm which will keep on tracking the device every second. Okay, right now it is located in Shilanagar. After 5 minutes, it will say it is located in something called as Gajwaka. Next, after 5 minutes, it may be near to the Kurman Palam. Like that, it will be tracking it. Okay, and it will provide us information on our mobile phone. Okay, so that is what is saying in there. So here the vehicle location is provided, as well as the analysis part is also done. Analysis like whether the item which is present in that vehicle is perfectly present or not, whether there is some kind of disturbances within that vehicle or not. That all information which will be provided using this particular fleet tracking. Okay. Next we have something called as ship monitoring and remote vehicle diagnosis. Well, basically, we don't have much examples related to this, but ship monitoring is nothing but since people will be transporting, I mean, whatever the items we want from or we are shopping it, that items may be transported either by the aeroplane or by ship or by other vehicles, right? So in order to track that, this IoT plays a very important role, mainly for food detection. I don't know how many of you seen it. When we people that Vishaka Dairy, they have some specialized vehicles which actually transport very what we call uh, costlier goods, like something very which will spoil within a day. Within a 1 day, they have to consume it. Something like your milk packets or something like your paneer and other kind of sweets and all. Okay, so in order to track whether the air conditioner is working perfectly or not, whether the temperature within that particular system is working correctly or not. Okay, within, like for example, if you talk about your sweets and all which are made of pure milk, they require some specified temperature. Within the temperature, if you're not keeping it, they may get spoiled. So when we are transmitting this with the help of a vehicle, these vehicles will have some sensors assigned to it. Okay, they are deployed there, assembled. Now these sensors will keep on tracking the information and sending it to the cloud. And the user of that particular company will find out, okay, where exactly this particular vehicle has reached and what is the temperature of that particular vehicle. Is it as per the temperature norm or not? Whether the pressure is okay or not. If it is not, he can immediately contact the driver and tell him that something is not good with that particular vehicle. Please try to make sure everything is perfectly done. So in this way, they can actually track it. Same way, remote vehicle diagnosis. So here, so nowadays, well, we don't have the technology here, but in foreign countries, this vehicle technology is there. Whenever you bring a particular vehicle for repairing purpose, the systems diagnose it entirely, and they tell that what is the speed of that particular engine, how many years it has been used. Okay, so what is the main problem with that particular vehicle? All that information will be provided. For that, we can use again this IoT concept. So here, basically, this is the one which they are using. Onboard diagnosis is the one they are using it, and then we have OBD2. Using these two techniques, they actually perform. What exactly, we don't have to go in depth, but just a general representation what he has given. Okay, so we can use in this sector also this IoT devices. That is what he needs to say in this particular scenario. Next, we have something called as agriculture. So if you talk about agriculture here, we'll be discussing about two things. We people already we discussed. We have a small flashlight on your smart irrigation. Then we have something called as greenhouse control. Smart irrigation is nothing but like as I told you, the farmer will not be trying to get the information. The farmers will not try to get the information, means they will not enter into the farm. Without entering into the farm, they will be, whenever the soil is dry, they will flash the water, sprinkle the water. Whenever the soil is wet, it will automatically, what we call, it will stop sprinkling the water. Rather than human intervention, everything will be automated in nature. So that comes under smart irrigation. So here they use a device called as cultivar rain cloud. This is a smart irrigation device. Using this device, we people can, well, if you people want to use in your farming land, you people can go through this particular website where you people can see how to use that particular thing in your farming land. Okay, like we have soil sensors present in them. We have Wi-Fi enabled sensors. So with the help of this, automatically they will turn on the pumps, they will turn off the pumps. It also controls the moisture levels here. So as I told you, so if the moisture level of the soil is less, automatically the sprinklers will start sprinkling the water. If the moisture level of the soil is okay, then automatically it will stop sprinkling the water. So that is what comes under smart irrigation. That's very easy to do. So if possible, we'll see how exactly it does. But right now, it's just an explanation that where we people can use this IoT concept in our scenario. Next, we have something called as greenhouse control here. So greenhouse control is nothing but we want to measure how much excess gases we are releasing in the environment, because of which our ozone layer is getting depleted. So in order to measure that, we are using this, so we can use IoT concepts. Like, I don't know how many of you know that if you search the website, you people will come across saying that Delhi is one of the most polluted, air polluted city in India. Same way within the world there are polluted countries, okay, polluted states that will be, how these are able, how they are able to identify, how they are able to say that Delhi is the most polluted. So that's because the IoT devices which are deployed in each and every city, they're actually measuring the data every day. And this data is stored in the cloud. And in the cloud, they are analyzing this data from different cities. And based on that, they are coming to know that the conclusion that Delhi is the most air polluted city when compared to other cities. So this is the way they do it. So in fact, we have different temperature. We have sensors like it uses temperature sensor, humidity, soil, moisture, light, carbon dioxide levels, carbon monoxide levels. All these sensors have been deployed there. As I told in the previous example, we used MQ2 sensor for data mining carbon monoxide CO3. So that can be determined using this MQ2 sensor. So that has been represented in this particular scenario. So using this, we can determine it, and as well as we can also predict. Like, I don't know how many of you know, like they are saying, like the scientists are saying, by the end of November or December, the coronavirus will be on peak. There will be these many lakh of people are infected. These many million people will be infected with this. How they are able to predict it? Based upon the data they have gathered. They are analyzing in the cloud, and based on that they are performing. Same way, using this, I don't know, you might have seen different wallpapers saying that by 2040, there will not be water available in rivers. Like all the rivers will dry. I mean, how do, by 2050? How they are saying that based upon the information they are getting gathered using this particular IoT devices. Using that, they're getting the data. Based on that, they're predicting it. Like this year, this much amount of rainfall. Next previous year, this much amount of rainfall has taken place. That previous year, this much. Based on that, they can predict the next year how much rainfall it will come up. So that is the way they're actually doing it. So this IoT is playing a vital role. So whatever the data that is collected, so as I told you before, it can be either placed in the centralized server or it can be placed in the cloud. If it is placed in centralized servers, what will happen is we will get the information from that particular server. So this server is getting crashed or due to certain reasons, maybe sudden earthquake came at that reason and that centralized servers all got damaged. So we will know we will be losing the data. So if we store, mostly we try to prefer for cloud because this information will be stored in cloud. Means this will be located in different servers, not in the centralized. It is something like distributed servers. So here, if any one of the server crashes, still we have our data safely secured. Like your Facebook is there, your Facebook account is not present in a single server. Actually, the main copy is present in a single server, but image copies are present in different servers. In case whenever if some problem comes to your main server, you will be getting the information from the other servers which are located. Okay, so based on that, that information is your data is not going to lose until and unless all the servers are existing. That is comes under distributed servers. So that's what been explained here. Next, we have agriculture. So coming to agriculture, we can use machine diagnostics. Okay, indoor air quality. So okay, this is related to smart industry. Sorry. So coming to smart industry, we can use for mission diagnostics and prognosis. Mission diagnosis is nothing but since our industry actually consists of several different type of what we call automated machines, which works automatically. Once you switch on the power, automatically they'll start functioning and they'll start making. I think many of you might have seen in Discovery Channel how to make chocolates, how to make Coca-Cola bottles and all. So all these works are done by the machine. Human beings are not involved in this. Automatically machines are doing it. So how these are doing? Those machines are what we call it as automated machines. Using this machine, whenever some problem comes in those machines, we need to diagnose it. As a human being, we can't diagnose it. So definitely we can use IoT concept here. We can deploy some sensors to these automated machines, which will keep on monitoring the structure. Like we people use smart devices, like smart watches, and every day it will tell us what is the heart rate, what is the BP rate, okay, how much you have worked out, how much calories you have burned. Same way, these devices which are deployed for the mission, they will be gathering information related to that lifespan. Okay, how much work is there, whether it is functioning properly or not, will there any problems or not. Based on that, it will be providing you the information. And based on that, these people can act whether we can work properly or not. That means what need to be done, whether we need to repair it or whether we need to replace it. All that things comes under. Now coming to indoor air quality monitoring, obviously, like I told you in blast furnace, like in our steel plant, we do have a blast furnace. Now within the blast furnace, a normal human being cannot go. Why? Because there is extreme temperature there, around 1000 degrees or something like that. So definitely humans cannot try to go and find out what kind of how much amount of gases are getting released or not. So definitely we require a automated thing. So for that we use again IoT concepts here. Now this indoor related gases are actually determined by this particular IoT devices. So what are the different gases that may be released depending upon the scenarios? It may be like carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide. Okay, these are the one which cause serious. Recently, like in Vishakhapatnam, there was a gas leak. There was a lot of conflicts, isn't it? How they came to know that this much area has to be vacated when this gas was released means based upon these sensors. These sensors give the information to them that this much amount of quantity of gas is getting released, and based on that they come to know that how much area will get affected by that particular gas. So they have immediately asked around 3 kilometers area to just move away. So this information how we are getting is just because the IoT devices that have been deployed in the location, they are the ones who are providing. So you can understand in various how we can use IoT device. What we are learning today is being used in different sectors. That's highly we can't imagine that much we are actually doing it. Next, we have something called as health and lifestyle. So this is the most important. I think the people are already using it. I don't have to explain much about this. Like if people have something called fitness. If you observe here in the diagram, he's showing you something a smart band here. This is your smart band. Okay, this smart band is actually connected with your mobile phone. Now this smart band is taking your heart rate every second and it is providing the details in your mobile phone. And whenever you will be placing some threshold here, like normally a human's heartbeat runs around 72 or 84, I think. I'm not sure about it. That is about 72 times per minute. So if your heart rate is getting decreased, this particular machine automatically detects and sends an alert to your mobile. From your mobile, that information will be transmitted to the doctor, and the doctor what he can do immediately he can provide you some kind of prescription. You take this medicine so that your heart rate starts monitoring or functioning properly, or something your heart rate can reduce. Means if your heart is beating fastly, take this medicine, it will automatically get controlled. So this is the way how this IoT. So here also IoT is playing a vital role. So with respect to your wearable electronics and fitness monitoring kind of thing. So basically, if you talk about here, well, if you, as I said also, we can use it for different parameters, like for psychological parameters like blood pressure, heart rate, body temperature, that we can see it using this. Right now we have something called, mostly many of them are using device called oximeters. Okay, what oximeter does? It actually detects your oxygen levels. So in the coming, but actually we need to buy a separate device. But I think in the coming days, you will find that in your smart band itself, smart watches, whatever you're using it. Within that only you'll get this feature also, where it will detect the oxygen level in your body and it will provide you the information. So that much advanced we are actually going on. So here the wearable devices can be belts or wristbands that you people know that already many of you are using it. So it can be wristbands or it can be a belt or it can be something or locket. It can be of different types depending upon our requirements. So wearable electronics, in this he is just explaining what are the different gadgets we do have here. So this I think you people might have known about smart watches. Mostly everyone is using it. Smart glasses. This is related to, I don't know how many of you, this is the best example for this is, how many of you seen, I don't know, that Spider-Man Homecoming movie in which the Spider-Man gets pets from the Tony Stark, where using which he can control everything. He can see everything. He can control the machines. That comes under smart glasses. Okay, it is able to detect everything. That is what comes under. Even Google has having recently. Google is having smart glasses. So using which they don't need a laptop to communicate anything. For example, right now I am using a laptop to share this particular slide and explain it. But if I have a smart glass, I don't require this particular laptop. So using that smart glass will be connected with my brain pulses. Whatever I'm thinking, based on that, it will be presented in front of you. I will be sharing it. Automatically, you people will be seeing this slide, and I will be seeing it with the help of a sketch, and I will be explaining it. That comes under smart glasses. Okay. So actually, that is this. So this, with the help of this, as I told, we can use, we can play audio, video files, we can play games and all. And apart from that, even recording videos and everything also we can do it, since smart glasses are that much. They have cameras which can directly capture the videos, and based on that, they can perform the operation. So they can even track exercise and calories that you people already know, that we have smart watches using which we can determine how many calories we have burned, how many steps we have actually come across, and all these things. Okay. So well, this is all about your first unit. So with this, we actually complete your first unit. Okay, the first part. So in this scenario, we discussed about what do you mean by IoT, what are the different levels or the layers we do have IoT, and after that we discussed about the communication models, how these IoT devices communicate. We have around 5 or 6 different type of communication models that we have come across, and finally we discussed about the levels. So based upon our project, whatever we want to construct, which kind of which IoT level we can use, that we have seen it. And finally, we have seen the different application domains what we have. So with this, we have actually completed your first unit. So in the next session, we'll start discussing about end-to-end related information, that is nothing but mission-to-mission communication. Till now, we discussed about application to the mission. Like in our smartphone, we have something called as device. Okay, in our smartphone we have an application. Using that application, we'll try to communicate with the hardware devices. But in second unit, we'll be discussing about how internally this mission-to-mission communication takes place. Means one device getting communicated with another devices. Mostly used in companies, automated companies, where the machines automatically work. So how one mission performs one task, that is taken care by another mission. So that we are going to see in the next session. Okay, thank you for watching.